Hey guys, it's Todd from Like-Minded Lunatics bringing you another Drink, Play, Swear. It's all we do around here. It's all Rob Halford told us to do when we listened to the Judas Priest record backwards. Around here. We're glad you're with us. Welcome back to Like-Minded Lunatics and to more Drink, Play, Swear. If you're not familiar with the channel, welcome here. Before I describe the channel, we get down to it today. Let me just say, please hit that subscribe button if you like what you're seeing here. Right there at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You could do it right now, and then you'd get all the information about what's going on here at Like-Minded Lunatics. If you want to be a like-minded weirdo, a lunatic with us, there's no test. You're in if you want to be in. So welcome. Now, my writing partner and good buddy Mark Gifford, he does the crown jewel operation around here. Up there, it's the Friday night videos. Boy, about a full year now, Mark is bringing you the Friday night videos every Friday, working hard to put together a fantastic show, and it always is. Here at Drink, Play, Swear, I'm not going for fantastic. I'll go with, yeah, it's all right. What are we doing here at Drink, Play, Swear? Well, we do just that. We have a beverage while I play a classic game and tell you a story while I'm doing it. So let's take a look at what we have here. This is an exciting one. This is Super Smash TV, and again on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I've been doing a lot of Super Nintendo lately. Been getting into it. Of course, I'm wearing the NES controller shirt from Mark Gifford. Gift from Mark Gifford. Do you have a t-shirt gift from Mark Gifford? I'm not... we're not playing favorites here. I'm just making sure you understand where you fall. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. Okay, what are we drinking with Super Smash TV? We're playing Super Smash TV today. Great game. And what are we pairing with it? Well, this is another great, this is a Jim Beam and Coke. I've never had one of these. Let's see what it's like. That's crisp refreshment. So let's do that. Super Smash TV is what it was called on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. In the arcade, it was just called Smash TV. And it's a great game. The controls are kind of goofy, and the controls are very consistent with the game designer's other games. You go, what do you know about other game designers, Todd? To be honest with you, like, I love playing these old games. I don't know anything about game designers. If you asked me to name my favorite game designer, I guess I would name this guy because he's the only one I know. Eugene Jarvis. Eugene Jarvis. I only remember the last name because of the Marvel movies. Jarvis, right? And my dad's middle name was Eugene. Anyway, Eugene Jarvis is responsible for the Atari Classic. He worked for Midway, but the Atari Classic Defender, great game. That was early in his career. And then he came around and did a bunch more great arcade games. He was also responsible for the Cruisin' series, Cruisin' the USA, Cruisin' the World. Those great arcade games where you sit in the car and change gears and the rumbles around you. But the reason why I like him so much is because of this game and two others, super violent video games. He was responsible for this little game called Narc, where you play a federal agent on a motorcycle, killing drug dealers. And there's a button for you to, like, arrest the drug dealer, but you'd never beat the game. Basically, the goal is run around with an Uzi and kill drug dealers as a narcotics officer. Okay. Then there was another one called Total Carnage, which I'm absolutely going to play on the channel at some time. It's a super fun game. I mean, I don't know if that I agree with the message of any of these games, but they're a lot of fun. Total Carnage is like this, you're sort of like a Rambo / Arnold Schwarzenegger commando style character. You know, shirtless, 80s or 90s dude, and you are killing these, like, aliens, maybe Middle Eastern aliens? It's probably racist. It's at least xenophobic. It looks like they're trying to create a race of alien people. Anyway. I'm not calling the guy a saint. I'm saying he played games that were fun to play. I mean, he created games that were fun to play. All right. So Eugene Jarvis, who is now like a Napa wine guy. He made his millions, I assume, and now he's kicking back. American dream, I guess. here we are with Smash TV. And the premise of this game, Smash TV, is it's just like that old premise you've seen in 100 movies, the dystopian future where, the average person is very, very poor. And so to get yourself out of the dregs of normal existence, you are asked to participate in game shows on television where your life is at risk, but you are given big money, big prizes if you slaughter everyone on your screen for the entertainment of others. Sounds great. Let's do it. So what was the inspiration for the story today? Well, and you have to see this video. Mark just did a really good Monday video matchup recently. He called it the Sacrilegious Showdown. And in it, he pit together against one another two historically controversial music videos in which folks who were upset about it were upset based on religious grounds, claiming that what was going on in the video or what the song represented was sacrilegious. And it was Madonna and Lil Nas X in the news. Mark, very timely, hitting up the Lil Nas X controversy while people are still talking about it. And I'm playing 90s Super Nintendo games. It's fine. That's indicative of our involvement, each of our involvement in the world. I'm dying over here, so let me pause it real quick. I was inspired by his Sacrilegious Showdown, so today the story is I want to talk about the Satanic Panic. Oh man, the Satanic Panic. If you were born in the late 90s or the early 2000s or even, the later 2000s, I don't know how old you are, you might not have any knowledge of this, but now people have finally started to write about it and talk a lot about it because we've sort of come past it a little bit, or we'd like to think so. The Satanic Panic of the 80s and 90s was this fear that parent groups and religious groups had here in the United States that there was this growing population of Satanists, and that these Satanists were, your teenage children. They were listening to heavy metal music and hip hop music. They were playing violent video games like Smash TV here. Smash TV doesn't apologize, doesn't pretend to not be violent, right? This isn't Terminator 2 where the T-800 is trained to shoot him in the knee. Nope. We're taking these dudes out. And they said that this was, just morally abhorrent, and that, they created all these images in the nightly news for us, that there were these cults, and what were these Satanists doing? Whether they were organized, look at this guy. Look at this scumbag. That looks, by the way, exactly like Eugene Jarvis, so I have to think it's him. But look at this, just blowing these guys away. Cool guns, and by the way, look how you want to see if this is dated. If this was made during the Satanic Panic, look in the top left screen when I step on prizes. Sometimes I'm winning VCRs, super VCRs. What is a super VCR? I assume that means it's a 4-head VCR instead of a 2-head VCR. 2-head was the cheap ones you get. That you'd rent from Blockbuster if you didn't have a VCR.
Pause. All right, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, here comes Mark. He's going to be a jerk and correct Todd. You're kind of right. So the SVHS had more lines of resolution than the regular VHS. Regular VHS, if I remember right, had something like 200 lines of resolution per image, whereas the SVHS had around 400 lines of resolution, and you couldn't use RCA cables to hook them up. You had to use S-video cables to hook them up. The heads on VCRs, that just referred to how many magnetic heads the tape passed as it went through the player. A 4-head VCR was able to hold a freeze frame image or a slow-mo image much better than a 2-head because it had more contact with the head readers. Interestingly enough, there were 6-head VCRs, Todd. The 6-head VCR dedicated 2 heads specifically to recording. So if you were doing tape-to-tape editing, you wanted a 6-head versus a 4-head. But hey, no one should know that. That's some nerd stuff right there. So get off Todd's back. I mean, I get on his back enough. Get off his back. No one should know that other than absolute nerds like me. All right, Todd, let's get back to the Satanic Panic because I'm loving this one.
VHS in the 80s. Four-head Magnavox, probably. I don't even know if Sony was killing it at TVs yet. Anyway, Satanic Panic. So if I'm going to try and track back my awareness of the Satanic Panic in a tangible way. So today I don't want to talk about the news. I don't want to talk about things that I read in the newspapers or saw on TV. I want to talk about my life and my understanding of this stuff. The Satanic Panic first was rattling around in my head because of one Richard Hall. What's going on, Ricky? I'm talking about you a little bit here today. You guys know Ricky Hall. He contributes a ton to Like Minded Lunatics, one of the original Like Minded Lunatics. He's our composer, special effects guy. He's even put his voice in a few things, and he's had a lot of fun with us here on the channel. When I was a kid, little kid, he was my cool older cousin. He was rock and roll, man. He had long hair, and he played guitar, played a bunch of instruments, and he was in marching band and all that, but he trumped any kind of fear of being a band nerd because he was a rock and roll dude, long hair. And man, Ricky, he shows up to a club, a nightclub or something, and he's trying to sit down and get a steak. The band is getting on the mic going, "Ricky, come up here and play a few." To me, he was cool. Well, I was hanging out with my other cousin Dusty, and we were closer in age. We were hanging out at my grandparents' house in San Angelo, Texas, or as they say, San Angelo. And we're hanging out in San Angelo, hanging out back there in the back room. I don't know if they called it a study or a library or just a pool room. But there was a pool table and wall-to-wall books everywhere, and we would play in there a ton. It was a great place. Get to the back on this one particular visit, and in the back there is this table, and this table has like something on the table, and then there's a tarp over it. Like you remember Back to the Future, the DeLorean's under the tarp. It wasn't as big as a car, but there was something under there. So I peeked, and what did I see? I saw a model of like the outskirts of a small town in a hilly area. It was a few trees, like a dirt path, really delicately put together, intricate work in painting this model, led up to a mountain, a small, a short, larger than a hill, not quite a mountain, and there was a terrible monster on top. And down on the road where it was a band of travelers. One dude was like, a shirtless warrior. One dude was draped in a cowl, and I was like, I said to my cousin Dusty, "What is this?" And he goes, "Oh, dude, that's Ricky's. So that's not ours. We're not supposed to touch it. Mom says we're not supposed to touch it." I said, "Why? What is it?" He said, "It's Dungeons and Dragons." I said, "It's what?" This is 86, 87. I said, "What are you talking about? Dungeons and Dragons?" He goes, "I don't know. My mom said..." Now, I don't know if Dusty's messing with me on this one. He probably was. I was gullible. I still am. I live with who I am. I like myself fine. He said, "Dude, we're not supposed to touch that. It's the devil, right? It's the devil." Okay. So I got no information about this stuff, except I had heard of Dungeons and Dragons before. Where had I heard about it? Looking in comic books. Spider-Man, other Marvel comics sometimes would have an ad page, and you would see a splash for... you would see a splash for Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't know quite what it was. It wasn't a video game, but from this model, it was like a... Was it a board game? What was it? Well, people who didn't know the game, I couldn't get any information from them, except there were far-out dice you never seen anywhere else before. 20 sides, 12 sides, this kind of stuff. And it dictated what happened in a story that a dungeon master created? Oh my god, I have to be a part of this. Couldn't get much information about it. couldn't get much information about it. I'm totally doing terrible, by the way. This is limited continues on this game, and so I want to take you to the boss, but I have to make it. So just give me a second here. So I was curious about, what is this? What is the devil? This devil's like a real being, like a living thing? Well, it's the Satanic Panic, like I said. You're hearing on the news all the time. There's these cults of people, and they're sacrificing animals out there. They're doing crazy sex acts out there. They got drugs and spray painting crazy pentagrams and stuff. Wow, really?
Oh, there's going to be sex, drugs, rock and roll, chips, dips, chains, whips. Your basic high school orgy type of thing. I mean, I'm not talking candle wax on the nipples or witchcraft or anything like that. No. Just a couple of 100 kids running around in their underwear, acting like complete animals.
Wow. And, I didn't know how Dungeons & Dragons fell into it. I didn't know how heavy metal fell into it. But another friend of mine, I was at his house. He's a latchkey kid. And parents not around. We were just hanging out watching TV and stuff. And this is later in life a little bit. I'm junior high maybe. I go over to the entertainment center, and there's a bunch of records, And my buddy says, yeah, those are my parents' records. Oh, cool. I'm looking through them and stuff. Junior high, kind of getting interested in music, And I saw Black Sabbath. And I was like, dude, is this Black Sabbath? I don't remember right if it said on the vinyl on the front cover. I don't think it said anything, but it was an iconic image that everyone has seen if they've seen it. You remember it. It's a woman or a long-haired man standing in this woodsy area. It's just a frightening image, I said, is this Black Sabbath? Now, I knew Black Sabbath was supposed to be the devil. You know what I mean? I didn't know about Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons seemed like 100% cool. Didn't have anything to do with like Satan or Christianity or Christian mythology or anything like that. Dungeons & Dragons was like, dragons and, big burly dudes with axes and scantily clad women in, metal bikinis. I mean, sign me up. This sounds fantastic, right? But this other thing, heavy metal, Black Sabbath. I said, dude, can you play it for me, or are your parents going to be upset? No, they don't care. He throws on a record. He throws on side 1, track 1 of Black Sabbath. These big wood speakers, wood panel speakers. It's the 80s, early 90s. And the opening to that record, it doesn't start right away. There's a storm brewing, and I was just waiting, staring at the speakers. There was no video. You're staring at the speakers, trying to imagine what you're listening to. And then, oh man, the guitar comes in with this wicked, slow, metal riff, and it sounded like this could be the devil. I could be learning something about all this. Well, I got the liner notes there. And I'm looking at the lyrics with it, but I'm a little surprised because when I look at the lyrics, the singer, Ozzy is like terrified. He's terrified of the devil. He's terrified of evil. Oh, here he is. This is Mutoid Man breaking the story. This is one of the great things about Eugene Jarvis's games is he gives you disgustingly large big bads. He gives you big bosses. Nothing better to me in a game than a big boss battle. Look at this guy. I mean, in the arcade it was even more impressive, of course, but I'll take it. Look at this guy. I'm probably not going to beat him. I didn't save enough lives, but you get to see me take him on at least. That's what I was hoping for. So, by the time I listen to the rest of the time we have to listen to Sabbath, my conclusion is that, okay, Sabbath are not Satanists. They're not worshiping evil. In fact, if anything, they were talking about the importance of morality and what temptation leads to, or something vaguely Christian, I thought. Well, then I'm at a loss. Is the devil wizards and warriors and scantily clad women? Is the devil temptation? Well, I don't know. What is this all about? So I went to the only other place I knew, trying to figure out about this Satanism thing, and that was MTV. Okay, so MTV was, for those of you of the younger generation, they just played music videos. It was amazing. And in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a program just for heavy metal. It was called Headbangers Ball. And you had shows that would play metal and play variety, like 120 minutes would play a little bit of everything. But you know, if you were into the hip hop community thing, you would watch Yo MTV Raps, and if you were a headbanger, it was Headbangers Ball, man, metal. And so I thought, surely MTV and Headbangers Ball is going to teach me more about the devil. And the first video I see, Metallica 1. I didn't know the song. Gosh, this must have been 88, 89 by this time. Maybe even 1990 by the time the video came out. Anyway, what am I seeing in that video? Nothing about the devil. Huh. This is about a man who fought for his country, tried to do the right thing, had some kind of terrible incident during the war. No arms, no legs, can't see, trapped in a prison, of his own body. Oh, reminded me of Sabbath. It was that this is about sadness and pain, and this is not about like laughing in the face of danger. This isn't about like animal sacrifice or whatever the news is talking about. I was more confused than ever. Combine that with the fact that there were some people in popular culture who were having a little fun with the Satanism idea already, you know? I'm thinking about Dragnet, that movie, the remake of the old show, Dragnet that Dan Aykroyd did, you know, with Tom Hanks. They're making fun of this idea of Satanism and dancing around in, looking like a goat or whatever. And I started thinking maybe there wasn't so much to worry about. Well, it wasn't really confirmed for me until high school. And one day I was sitting in high school, and people who know me, fans of the channel, have heard about me talk about my young life. High school was not my favorite time. I really didn't like going. Wasn't my favorite thing. And so I was looking for any distraction I could find. I was into heavy metal full on by then, but I was listening to Metallica, I was listening to Megadeth, I was listening to Sepultura, Danzig. They weren't talking much about the devil. I mean, Danzig was trying to be scary. He would use the imagery, you know, just like Zombie. Like I loved White Zombie and Rob Zombie. And when I bought Los Exorcisto Devil Music Volume 1, I was kind of worried for a second. I was, making a mistake and something scary was going to happen. It was just rock and roll theater, man. It was Alice Cooper, but for a new generation. So, again, I hadn't worried too much about it. But then, in high school, one day I was sitting in class. This dude will never die. Look at this guy. I was sitting in class, and there was this goth girl, okay? Let me pause right here. There was this goth girl, and sitting kind of in the back, stringy black hair, black eye makeup, black lipstick, all kind of tattered black clothes. Cool kid. I usually hung out with kids like this. Cool to me because she was different. And I see on her desk there, while the science teacher's talking about whatever he's talking about, mitochondria, I don't know. And I see that on her desk is the Satanic Bible. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons, Metallica, Sabbath, Dragnet. This was kid stuff, right? Now I'm getting to it. So when it was time to partner up and do some kind of thing, I don't know, ATCG, I don't know what we were doing. We were doing something. I was half paying attention. Chose her as my lab partner real quick. And I was like, hey man, what are you reading there? She's like, nothing, kind of covering stuff up. No, man, I want to know. What is that? What's the Satanic Bible? I'm ready for the real deal, What is this all about? You gotta tell me. She says it's by this guy, Anton LaVey. He runs the Church of Satan. This sounds more and more like we're getting down to the real story, getting down to the nitty-gritty of what we're looking at. And I see it's a hardback book. On the back is a picture of this dude, LaVey, right? He looks like Ming the Merciless from Flash Gordon. The guy's frightening looking. I'm like, this is what I've been looking for. I'm not saying looking for in the sense that I was going to join up, but a kid's curiosity. What's the enemy? Everybody on the news is talking about the enemy here. What are we talking about? I just want to know what we're talking about. Well, she's not impressed. She checked out from the public library, I guess, or somebody in her family let her borrow it or something. She was looking for what I was looking for. Some information about all this stuff that was going to be kind of juicy and interesting. See this, boss? Your regular gun doesn't work on him, so you got to wander around and hope that you're going to pick up some goodies. I'm on my last set of continues here, so let's see if Toddy McWright can pull it out. Toddy McIrishman 4% can pull this out here. So she says, you know what, dude? It's not what I thought it was going to be. I'm like, what do you mean? She says, this guy, he doesn't even believe in Satan. I'm like, what do you mean? She says, yeah, it's some like reaction to Christianity. He's like, they're hedonists. They're just trying to do the opposite of Christianity to upset Christians. Oh. He says, she says, yeah. I said, oh, well, what's the guy like? Does he tell cool stories or something? She says, no, this book doesn't even have stories in it. It's like philosophy. What? Philosophy? Okay. I said, well, is he at least like good music? Is he write about music? She says, no, you know what? He doesn't even care for heavy metal. He says he doesn't care for it. He doesn't like the imagery. Okay. And he's against drug use. He says it clouds the mind. Okay. And then she gets to this chapter where she's showing me about eugenics. Okay. And I'm like, what's that? And she goes, it's like breeding a master race type of garbage. And I'm like, you talking about like Nazi stuff? She's like, kind of like Nazi stuff. I'm like, what? Now I'm kind of worried about her. She's like, no, it's BS. And by the way, I was low-key panicked about beating that first boss. Did it mid-story. Come at me. Not you. Detractors. If there are any. So, Ming the Merciless / LeVay, whatever his name was, didn't do it for me either. And so I came to this kind of piece after I was like blown away that this guy wasn't like cool or anything. It was all theater for everyone. Everyone was having, a go. They were having a good time with it, and playing on people's panic and playing on people's concern. And so the nice thing was from there, I was able to sit back and enjoy the stuff I liked without fear. I could listen to White Zombie, Los Exorcisto, Devil Music Volume 1, and just have fun with it, especially when I start watching his videos and see that he's having a good time, you know what I mean? Maybe there was hedonistic stuff there. Certainly not worship of any kind of, thing, or, a concentrated effort of a group in order to push their agenda. They liked horror movies. They liked putting on goofy costumes. So did I. So the Satanic Panic, thankfully, slowly subsided. Were there, a few handfuls of people around the country getting together, torturing squirrels and leaving nasty messages on a ditch? Yeah, but I think they were like copycats. They were like trying to be something. There was no organized effort, as far as most of us can tell. Okay, so that was the Satanic Panic. And hey, man, Super Smash TV, a ton of fun. And, I got to be honest, because they don't let you have extra continues in here, they're playing it arcade style, but without quarters. I haven't been much further than level 1. I would love to play an arcade port of this where you can get to some big bads, because these games are so fun. So thanks for being with us. Glad you're here with us at Like-Minded Lunatics. Please hit that subscribe button if you're liking what you're seeing. And remember that we're not just on YouTube, which is I know where many of our friends watch us. If you're on social media, we are also on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. I have to pause there because I almost always say Instacart. During COVID, I'm always ordering groceries. Instagram, Todd. We're not on Instacart. We're not bringing you groceries. Maybe Mark will. Okay, listen, let's finish up these beverages, and I'm sure glad you spent some time with us playing Smash TV and talking about the Satanic Panic. Between now and the next time I talk to you, I'm Todd. See ya.